Hey, we're Set It Off, and right now we are on the cover of Rock Sound magazine. Get your issue today, which comes with an exclusive t-shirt, and you can pick that up at shop.rocksound.tv.
Hey guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Rock Sound. Set It Off are back on the cover of Rock Sound. You can go pick up right now at shop.rocksound.tv. And I'm delighted to say the lads are on the line on Zoom right now. How are you, gentlemen?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Lovely to see you boys. Very, very exciting time. We'll get into the album. We'll get into all that good stuff. But first of all, let's, talk a little bit about where you guys are right now. This is clearly a tour bus. I can see that very, very clearly.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a time you guys seem to be having. It must be so great to finally be able to hit the road again out of all this time and actually get out there and play some shows for the people, right?
It's absolutely incredible. I was just thinking about it the other day. It's just the fact that we're seeing progress in this awful situation we've all been in is just remarkable and surreal. So like we just did a show in Chicago. We were able to live stream it. And it was just, we had the time of our lives. And it was just kind of like every show feels like a wake up call. Like you're doing it. Like this is happening because it didn't feel like it was going to happen for the longest time. So we're really grateful to be doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah, nice to be able to get back out there. And it seems like the new songs in particular are kind of going down a storm, right? It must be nice when you've kind of sat with them for a minute, these singles and everything, to finally get them out in front of the people and see a physical reaction to what you guys have been working on, right?
Oh, 100%. Because especially when when you've been around the songs for so long, there's like a real thing where it's like there's word for like demo-itis or whatnot, but there's also like you can outplay your own songs. So we're like, okay, well, I've been around these for a while. Is it still good? I hope other people think it's good. And luckily, other people think it's good.
It's always a good start. Always a good start when that happens, man, for real. Well, on that note, we kind of caught up briefly with Max there when he was over at Slam Dunk for As It Is and playing all those shows. And I remember at the time, Max, you said to me, I think this album might end up being the best Set It Off album we've done so far. So I'm inclined to agree now that I've heard it, but I want to know what you guys think. Did it match your own expectations there in the end?
I mean, for me personally, I appreciate you saying that, and I do think it is our strongest album. Like I feel very confident. I think we all do that. We've outdone ourselves before. You never want to get over the top with it, and it's very hard for me to say those things out loud because I'm always afraid before it comes out. But I really do think it's our best work ever.
Yeah, boys, you agreeing with that as well? You agreeing with that statement?
Absolutely. I'm very, very excited to release the rest of the record. I mean, we put out Skeleton and it did great. Then we put out Projector and it's already doing better than Skeleton was doing. So it can only go up from here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of elements of Set It Off from past eras and also something completely new and different. And you mix all that together and I think it's something really special. I think people are going to be excited and I think they're going to be surprised by the album. And there's also 16 songs, so you got some variety.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's our best record today.
Yeah, a lot to get stuck into for sure. I'm glad you mentioned the past a little bit because that's kind of where I want to begin with the kind of musical side of this, because I was trying to think, how do you describe this record? How do you kind of describe the tone of this record? And I've got a word. I want to see your reaction to this. This is a sassy record, boys. It's very sassy. Got some sass about it. And I mean that in a really positive way because it's got like some of the catchiest hooks you've ever written, seriously. But it's got a bit of bite to it as well, which is really nice. And it reminded me, I was trying to think, like, what does this remind me of? It reminds me fully of Duality. This could be like a sibling record to Duality in a lot of ways, I feel. How do you feel about that kind of mix?
Oh, I'm fine with that. We hold that album, Duality, close to our hearts. So to be able to feel like we're following it up and hopefully leveling it up is just all we could ever ask for right now. And the sassiness is definitely, it's there. I think you're definitely right.
It's almost unintentional.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about the theme of the album overall and the way that the songs sound. And someone mentioned that they were like, that sounds kind of like Duality. And it almost ended up being the spiritual successor to that accidentally. So
yeah, and I mean, even just from a kind of style soundscape point of view, like specifically the top half of this record, I feel like you get through those first couple of singles, obviously, but then the next few tracks after that, it's banger after banger for a start. But it's got that, it's channeling that kind of like, I want to say it's like an alt version of that sort of early noughties Max Martin style of songwriting, that kind of big pop hooks, but it's got a little bit of darkness and a little bit of grit to it as well,
Yeah, I think that's also because very much like what I listened to growing up was I've always been a huge fan of Max Martin and his writing style and trying to crack his code, which only he can do, really, I feel. But it's been a fun journey because I grew up listening to that, to R&B, to alt music to new metal, like all of these influences. I think that's where the bite comes from, is those sort of influences mixed with my passion and will to try to create the catchiest melody that I can on every song, because it's just so fun for me. It's just kind of like a puzzle in a way, I guess. But I think that's where we get the bite with the 90s Max Martin sort of style.
Yeah, fits really nicely, dude. Really, really does. And I guess another kind of key piece of the puzzle, you know, we've seen a lot of it in the music videos and in the kind of bits of the on-stage styling. We've seen big, you know, striking aesthetic and imagery. And I know you guys are always thinking about that kind of stuff when you go into a new era and really kind of take the time to build that. Tell me a little bit about creating this kind of visual world you wanted to do around Elsewhere and around this new era.
Well, it was a pretty crazy time in 2020 and 2021. And I was feeling a lot of feelings and wasn't sure quite how to handle those. So started going to therapy and had this big breakthrough in which before I started, I got to a point where I wasn't feeling anything. And then I started therapy, had this breakthrough, and I started feeling everything, the good, the bad, everything in between all at once. It's almost like I had this backpack full of stuff that I was just setting aside for later and just dumped it all out all at once. And was feeling that way while I was listening to the songs that Cody was putting out, and a lot of these things were lining up. So one, there was a nice thing of going like, oh, my brothers are feeling the same thing that I'm feeling, and also working backwards from there, kind of trying to create what that feeling felt like, of that working through being stuck at home, because we toured 8 months out of the year every single year, so we could quite literally run away from our problems, and then suddenly we're home. And at first I was terrified, but it ended up being a really nice way to be forced to focus on yourself and work through these things. And came out on the other side, and here we are. And that's how it all started.
Yeah, no, it's smart. It makes sense to kind of channel something like that and that kind of shared experience into something like this, and something a little bit fantastical as well, which is nice. It's nice. I feel like in the Midnight era as well, you guys were kind of pushing that sort of otherworldliness a little bit, but it's really kind of come to the fore with this one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we also me and Cody have a lot of things that we both enjoyed, like Halloween Horror Nights, for example, in Orlando and Hollywood. Used to do these cool like teasers and games, and you could figure out how to figure out the story through doing that. And we always loved that immersive experience because we were so excited about it. It just made us feel like we were part of it as well. And so we wanted to add elements of that, and we wanted to kind of create an entire world that you could dive into. And when you come to a show, you feel like you're entering that world.
We've been talking about doing that for like years.
Oh, for so long.
We finally were like, okay, we know how to execute this.
Yeah. And it's been so incredible to see not only the world come to life on our end, but when Set It Off fans are coming to shows, we're noticing that they have found clothing from the music.
Yeah.
They're dyeing their hair like all sorts of crazy colors. They're really embracing this idea that it's like, do whatever you want. You wanna have 100 colors? Why not?
Something kind of funny about what you just mentioned is like, there's this shirt that I wear in the Skeleton music video. It's a long sleeve shirt. It's like blue and pink with flowers on it. I don't own that shirt. It was like from wardrobe, and I have been actively looking for that shirt. I'm going to it's apparently Zoomies sells it. I've been going to every Zoomies at every mall we stop at on off days. I can't find it. Everybody else has it. Shows for me. They're like, where did you find it? They're like, I got it at Zoomies. I'm like, I can't find it, man.
Man, they got to come on, Set It Off fans. You got to hook my boy up with a shirt here. Come on, point him in the right direction.
Many of them.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, you're going to be racking them up now. That's the point. Yeah, champagne problems right there. I want to mention Projector, which you've already mentioned. What a huge receptions that's kind of had, not only live, but just from the fans in general. It's really, really cool to see. Great kind of big single to kind of be pushing this era with. Just tell me a little bit about writing that track in particular, and I guess what stuck out about it for you to obviously make it this single.
Well, I think what it was for making it the single is every now and then we get a song back and we're like, we just know that this one's for the fans. And like this one really felt like this is a song that Set It Off fans will gravitate towards, which is why we wanted to make it one of the first tracks, because we knew that they would get everyone really pumped up. But the song itself is just a blast to write. I always say, you don't bottle up happiness. So it's kind of harder for me to write happy songs because when I feel happiness, I emote it. But anger is like a much more difficult road to navigate as far as how to get that out of your system. So that's why when you hear Set It Off songs and they're so angry, that's because that's my way of coping. That's my mechanism for that. So It's a very angry song, but it was what I needed at the time. I was really just pissed off. I needed to get all the thoughts that were in my head just out onto the song itself. But it was fun too because it was me and our producer Mike Reed, and we were trying to find some fun influences. And like Dr. Dre's The Chronic album was like a big influence to that song. So kind of merging that with like our alt influences was really fun. But yeah, I'm glad everyone likes it. It's just exciting to have the music out in general.
Yeah. Have the crowd been trying to sing along that particularly fast lyrical section yet? Have they managed it?
They've been doing their best on that. My favorite part is when it starts. We can cuss, right?
Oh, of course you can. Yeah.
Okay, I always have to ask, but at the beginning was "Shut the fuck up, please." I just hold the mic out because they just yell it at me, and it should offend me, but it doesn't. Make me really happy to have them tell me to shut the fuck up. It's great.
nice positive heckling from your own crowd.
Oh, exactly,
that's cool. I like to see that, man. That's good. Another track I want to mention, just because you guys talk about it a little bit in the mag, which again I encourage people to go and check out, and that's As Good As It Gets, which kind of feels like a really, really interesting moment in your songwriting where you guys seem to all be on the same page but separately and kind of came together. Tell me a little bit about that particular track.
Well, the whole notion behind it, I think, is something that people, as you're growing older, you face a lot of the times. Even if you're on the outside, people think you're succeeding heavily. You're probably not satisfied with where you want to be. You wish you could be doing more. And that is what that whole song's about. It's like the first lyric is, they tell me that I'm 10 feet tall. They tell me why I feel so small. I'd break my neck to have it all. It's like people will tell us, like from the outside looking in, like, oh man, you guys are killing it. And we feel like we're doing a good job, but we're always going to want more. And we see, some of our friends doing better than us, and it can be so frustrating. But that's part of life, and you just got to keep your head down and keep working. But it was something that we wanted to be as vulnerable as possible with this record and just talk about all of our life experiences, and without fear of anybody judging us. And that's kind of what this song is a very open letter to the struggle of trying to succeed.
Yeah, well said, man. Yeah, I think it comes across really, really nicely in there. A couple more things before I let you boys go and get ready for a show tonight. First of all, Cody, I got to mention, we've chatted with Patty and Ronnie a few times about your little appearance on their record. They've had their say and said what a wonderful experience it was. Obviously, you guys are all old friends and everything. But just wanted to get your take. What was it like from your side working on a song like that?
Terrible, awful.
I figured. It's why I asked. I had to ask. No. Get the truth at last.
No, dude, it was amazing. It's one of my favorite collaborations I've ever been a part of. Because like you said, they're close friends. So collaborating at that point is just hanging out and just, actually finally collecting on our ideas. And we knew we were all inspired by similar things, but to finally use those influences together was just a really good time. Just cracking jokes, having fun, but also just creating a song that I'm extremely proud of. And I get to sing it with them tonight on stage, actually, which is great.
Yeah, another one that seems to be going down well live. It's nice to see. And speaking of live, obviously touring plans are what they are. And, you're far from the first to have had many big struggles in this. And I think maybe you guys have been more unfortunate than most. God bless you. But, it happens. It happens. Very exciting news, though. You are going to be back over here for Slam Dunk, which is really exciting. Yes. And I know a festival that you guys have obviously done a couple of times before, right? And it always, it's so good for the scene. It's so good for the fans. You must be really excited to be able to come back and not only come back to UK, but play something like that, especially.
Oh, God, yes. I know that we've been dying to play Slam Dunk or just come back to the UK for how long has it been? Yeah, too long. 3 years. So at least we have an excuse to come back right now, and we can't wait to see everybody over there again.
Man,
that festival's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. No, it's amazing. Yeah, Max, you picking up any? Because I'm trying to remember how many times you guys have played and stuff, but it's been a couple of years now since Slam Dunk. It must have been nice for you, Max, to kind of come back as well and get a little taste in a different way.
It was a lot of fun. Like you said, I go way back with As It Is, so they did. It was like my close friends were there, but it was weird not having Cody and Zach there. I felt like
sure.
I was out there without my security net. I didn't have my team. So it's gonna be really cool.
That was your first show back since the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
wow.
crazy.
So crazy.
But going back with the new music and like the unit known as Set It Off is going to be something really, really special, especially for we've had to reschedule this UK Europe tour so many times, and they have been so patient. If you're watching, thank you so much. For understanding. And so at least getting over there and being able to play any kind of music overseas is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, exciting times ahead, man. Exciting times ahead for sure. Well, boys, I mean, once again, just congrats on this record. I will say it again. Go check out the new issue of Rock Sound. Fantastic, fantastic interview in there with Maddie, and it's really, really worth checking out. Boys, we will see you on these shores very soon. Looking forward to it, right? Stay safe out there in the meantime.
Can't wait. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Always great to chat to you. Right, set it off, everybody.